This is Khush, your local realtor. Let's talk about the realistic number when it comes to renting versus buying. Let's start with condos first. So a typical one-bedroom condo, let's say a 5-year-old, 500 square feet condo near SkyTrain station in, let's say, New West Surrey. Of course, as of December 2024, everything could change depending on when you're looking at this video. The upfront cost would be $500K for, let's say, the purchase price. The minimum down payment you need as of now is 5%, which will be $25,000. But again, this is minimum. So of course you'll have to pay CMHC insurance if you're putting the minimum down. But the preferred down payment is of course 20%, which comes to $100K for the $500K purchase price. The lawyer fees around $1,500 to $2,000. This is again just one-time upfront cost. And then the property transfer tax of $500K, it's $8,000. But if you're a first-time home buyer, you're exempt from paying this property transfer tax. So your property taxes will be literally zero. Okay, these are the upfront costs. Your monthly costs, your mortgage. Right now, the interest rates for especially a 20% down first-time home buyer for a typical condo would be anywhere from 3.99% to 4.34, 4.4%. Most of people are getting around 4.1%. Let's assume 4.1%. Again, depending on when you're buying, check with the mortgage broker and see exactly what the interest rates are. So 4.1%, your principal plus interest will be $1,925. And this is again based on a 20% down. So 500K minus 100K, so 400K mortgage amount, your $1,925 monthly. Your strata fee, $350, property taxes around $165. Again, depends. This is just an average. It could be $150, it could be $200, but this is the very average range for a typical one-bedroom condo. Utilities again depends. Summer it's lower, winters it's higher, depending on how you're heating the condo. It could be baseboard heating, electrical heating, or furnace forced air heating. There are many variables, but approximately $50 to $70, maybe $100. Sometimes it's $30 in summers. And sometimes strata includes gas as well, and water as well. So it depends, but the average is $60. Insurance again depends. Usually $1,200 a year or $100 per month. Total would be $2,600 per month. Again, this is based on the 20% down, or you can add $450 per month if you're putting the bare minimum and if you don't have the extra 75K. So $2,600 per month is your all-in cost for a typical $500,000 one-bedroom condo, or an older two-bedroom, like very old, like a 1990s two-bedroom condo. But we're assuming like a 5-6-year-old, like a newer condo where you don't have to do any maintenance in the next 5-6 years, right? So your principal pay down, of course, the $1,925 that you're paying every month, out of that, around $600 per month for the first few years will be added to your principal amount, which you'll be getting back whenever you're selling. So, of course, the $1,925, majority of it is interest. Again, the interest is usually the highest for the first years. Like the first year is literally the highest, and then it slowly starts dropping. So your principal is around, I think, $570, $580 per month for the first year, then slowly starts going up. $600 for maybe year 3, year 4, and then $650, $680, $800, $1,000. As years go by, your principal pay down increases, but we're assuming an average of 5 years, so $600 per month. Appreciation depends many variables, could be minus 5%, could be plus 5, plus 10%, depending on the year. There's many variables, but an average, let's take a 4.56%. This is a very reasonable, very conservative, not too up in there. It's not too greedy, not too low. That it's very realistic number, 4.5% per year compounded, of course. Your selling costs, let's assume you're selling the condo in like 5 years from now. Your realtor cost, lawyer, mortgage breaking penalty comes to around $25,000. Your net after 5 years at 4.56% appreciation. Of course, in the last 10 years, price. So every 10 years, prices double. Again, this is history. We don't really know what's going to happen in the future. History might repeat itself, but let's be conservative. Let's not take 7.2. Let's just take 4.56. So this is a very conservative number again. So $125K. Again, this is around $25,000 every year for a $500,000 condo, which is 4.56% compounded, minus selling costs, of course, of around $25,000. It comes to $100K net. Again, this is you're making 100K after holding on to the condo for 5 years. And of course, you'll get your initial down payment back, and of course, minus around $2,000 per month that you will be paying for interest for your startup fees, your taxes, insurance, all the monthly expenses other than your principal pay down. So you're netting 100K in 5 years. Had you rented the same exact one bedroom brand, like 5-year-old condo, your rent would be around $2,000 a month. Again, and this is like typical Skyton Station, Surrey, New West, Edmund Station, or like Burnaby. Of course, the closer you get to Vancouver, the price point's gonna get higher, or if you're keeping the price point the same exact 500K, you won't be getting a newer condo in Vancouver. It'll be like 30, 40, 50 years old. So you'll be paying 20K in 5 years if you were renting this. Of course, you're still paying literally the same exact in cost if you're buying it. The only difference is your 100K that you're making with appreciation. So again, appreciation is never guaranteed, but if we're looking at history, and if you're taking a very conservative approach, 4.56% is a very reasonable number, and you can very realistically expect to make 100K. Again, this is after all the costs involved in 5 years from now. Of course, you'll also be spending 120K in the cost. So technically, your net $20,000, but you would have paid that anyway in rent. And your income required, again, you have to talk to a mortgage broker, depends on the interest rates, depends on your credit score, but just a very rough general idea, it's usually 39% of your monthly income has to be lower than your total costs. So let's say it's a couple, you're making $20 per hour each, so $40 per hour in total as a family income. So $40 per times 40 hours a week times 52 hours in a year. So this is the yearly income, around 41,000, I think, divided by 12 monthly. So monthly income has to be times 39%, has to be more than 2,600. This is, I think, 2,700. So it is more. So you have to make around $40 per hour as a single guy, 2 people, 3 people, doesn't matter. And of course, you have to have your 680 minimum credit score, and of course, no loans. If you have car loans, then this has to be even more. And again, you have to talk to a qualified mortgage professional to know the exact number. Okay, now let's assume you're buying a townhouse, a typical 3-bed, 2.5 bath townhouse, a 10-year-old, 10, 15-year-old, around 1,400, 1,500 square feet townhouse. You can easily get it for around $800,000 nowadays in, let's say, a normal area like Sullivan Station, Fleetwood. Again, it might change. It might be 780, it might be 820, depending on the exact location, exact year, exact size. But 800K is the very happy medium for now. So your upfront cost, again, 800K down payment, 5% plus a 10%. Of course, you cannot just put 5%. You have to, for everything over 500K, you have to add 10%. Up to $1 million, so 55,000. Again, I'm not gonna go over every single thing, but you can take a screenshot. You can take a look yourself. You can pause the video and take a look. And let's quickly talk about, so of course, your mortgage, $3,500. Startup fees, property, utility, insurance. Your total will be $4,450 a month. Again, this is for a typical 3-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom townhouse anywhere in Surrey, around $800,000. And your appreciation, again, keeping it the same. Your selling cost, of course, a little more because it's a bigger amount. Your net after 5 years, the same exact, around $200,000 minus the 40K, all the selling costs, lawyer, realtor, mortgage breaking penalty. So for mortgage breaking penalty, just FYI, of course, if you have fixed interest rate, it will be a lot higher. If you have variable, it will be 3 months of your interest. So, but the very last year of your fix is also usually very close to the variable, which is 3 months of interest. So 160K you're making after 5 years, of course, minus the $2,500 per month that you're paying in all the costs. Your rent for the same exact 3-bed, 2.5 bath townhouse would be around $3,340 a month, which is around $200,000. Your rent is literally more than your costs after, of course, the principal pay down. So if you're buying a townhouse, it makes a lot of sense to be buying rather than renting a townhouse. If you're renting one bedroom condo, it's okay. If you're like a single guy, it's okay to rent for like a couple of years. But if you're holding it, especially if you're holding for 5 years, you have to buy a townhouse. You cannot rent for 5 years because rent is only going to go up. Your principal pay down is only going to go, the principal pay down is also going to go up. Your interest portion will be going down. And your income required will be around $33 per hour per each person, let's say 66 in total. Of course, it could be 3 people making $66 an hour in total as a family combined income. Okay, and finally, let's talk about houses. So detached house, a typical 5-bed, 3-bed, 2,400 square foot house. You can either get a 40-year-old house on a 7,000 square foot lot, so 1980s built, or a newer, let's say 2002, 2003, 2022 years old on a smaller lot for pretty much the same exact price and like a normal area in Surrey, like, again, Fleetwood, Silver Station, Queen Mary, Cedar Hills. So your upfront cost, we're assuming the purchase price to be $1.35 million. Again, could be 1.2, could be 1.4, depending on the renovations of the house, depending on the lot size, many variables, but we're assuming, just for the sake of this video, 1.35 purchase price. Down payment, of course, you have to put 20% down. Your lawyer fees, property transfer tax, you have to pay around $25,000. Okay, your monthly expenses, again, feel free to take a screenshot or pause the video. Mortgage, $5,200, property taxes, utilities, insurance. Of course, utilities insurance, of course, will be higher than a condo and a townhouse, of course, because it's a bigger house, bigger place, more people living in the house. Total $6,100 per month. Principal payment $1,600 per month. For the first few years, again, it could be $3,000 a month after like the year 10 or 12 already. So just to start, it's for the first 5 years, the average is $1,600 per month. Appreciation the same. Selling costs around $60K. Net after 5 years. For the same exact appreciation for a condo, for a townhouse, for a house, $340,000 minus the $60K, so $280,000 you'll net after 5 years. Of course, plus the initial down, the $270 that you've put down, you'll get it back, and then of course the minus all the costs except your principal pay down, $3,600 per month. And to rent the same exact 5-bedroom, 3-bath house would be around $5,000. Again, I've seen anywhere from $4,500 to $5,600. The average is around $5,000 per month. So had you rented the same house, it would have costed you $300,000 in 5 years. That's literally more than the down payment. Okay, and of course the income required around $91 per hour in total, which is, I think this is around a little under $190,000 per year. So if you're making a little under 200K, you could most likely qualify for a mortgage of around 1.08 million at 4.1% interest rate. Again, there's many variables. This is not guaranteed. There is no guarantee. You have to talk to your mortgage broker to know exactly what your income required is. Okay. And of course, 680 credit, at least, again, this is the minimum. This is not, don't go and write an offer if you have 680. You still have to talk to your mortgage broker. It might be 700, 725 required. And of course, you should not have any loans. If you have loans, so car loans especially, your 91 could even go up to $100. Depends on how many loans you have. And of course, if the best case scenario is, of course, if the 5-bedroom house has a basement suite, a 2-bedroom basement suite, of course, nowadays are renting for $2,000 a month. And if it is, then you're pretty much earning the $2,000 a month. There's many variables. There's always risks involved with tenants. You're assuming everything goes smooth. There's no damages. There's nothing wrong. $2,000 a month you'll be getting. So you're paying $6,100 minus this $4,100, which is lesser than the amount you were paying for the same exact size townhouse. So your portion will be around $1,400 for the house as well. Okay, thank you very much for watching the video. My name is Khush. I'm a local realtor from Vancouver to Surrey and all the other areas nearby. If you have any questions realty related or not, feel free to contact me at this number up above, and have a great day. Bye.